Judge Perry, thank you for allowing me to ask you some questions about a recent case that you prosecuted. The Lazarus trial.
You are welcome. I do not normally do these types of interviews, and for the record, I was not officially a member of the prosecution team. Please make sure you make that clear in your story. What is your name and who do you work for?
My name is Shannon and I write for a web-based publication. Forgive me, I wasn't sure how everything works here in the United States. It seemed that you were connected to the prosecution, from watching the trial every day. But I stand corrected.
I understand. What questions do you have?
As I said, I stand corrected that you were not, formally, part of the prosecution team. But it did appear that you helped the prosecution tremendously to ensure Mrs. Lazarus was convicted in this case?
Well, like I told the jury repeatedly, every defendant has certain constitutional rights. I do my best to make it appear that defendants get them, their constitutional rights. I recognize that I jacked many of Mrs. Lazarus' rights, and it was difficult to do that in this case.
What do you mean, in this case?
The DA's office really needed my help on this one. You know what I mean. You were in court every day. The only piece of actual evidence, the bite mark DNA was. Well, can we go off the record?
Yes, of course, off the record.
Off the record, that bite mark DNA was so effed up. I mean, come on, you saw it. That tube was sticking out of the top and out of the bottom of that envelope. I know I should have never let it in, but it is so emotional, Shannon. I just felt I needed to help.
Back on the record, Judge Perry. Yes, it is a very emotional case, but it seems like that piece of evidence should not have been allowed in for the jury to consider. And Judge Perry, what about denying Mrs. Lazarus Miranda rights and her right to present evidence from 1986 regarding an identical crime that happened a couple of weeks after this crime, except the woman ran away when she interrupted the armed burglars? Shouldn't the jury have heard that? That seems to be very important. There seem to be several other basic rights that every defendant should be afforded. And why did you not allow Mrs. Lazarus to have bail?
Now wait. I did set $10 million cash bail for Mrs. Lazarus.
Did you really ever think Mrs. Lazarus would be able to post $10 million cash?
No, of course not. Don't be silly. What is the big deal? Do you think people noticed?
Judge Perry, I moved here from a country that has a very corrupt legal system. I thought it was different here in America. I guess I was wrong.
Let me interrupt you. You may be absolutely correct on those points and others too, but the Los Angeles Police Department could not afford to look bad twice on this case. I am sure you can understand that.
Are you saying that the Los Angeles Police Department's image is more important than allowing a person charged with a crime to have their constitutional rights?
Absolutely right. I don't think you understand how difficult it is. These are difficult decisions to make in these emotional types of cases. What do you want me to do? I wasn't going to throw the DNA out no matter what. Look, the DA acknowledged the bite mark was contaminated back in August of 2010. I didn't and don't care. I'm not going to be the one who gets rid of the DNA. Let someone else do that, not me. No way. Anyway, what's the big deal if we cheat and lie a little? Remember, we are the ones wearing the white hats. Let me ask you again. What do you want me to do?
I think all people want is for all of our judges, for the legal system to follow the rules for both sides. I think it is simple. People want you to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. That is, after all, what you agreed to do when you took the job, Judge Perry. Why did you not take action against the prosecutor, Paul Nunez, who got caught influencing witnesses in court during the trial?
Well, because that would not have looked very good for the prosecution, now would it?
I'm certain you are right about that. If I may ask, what did you do before you became a judge?
I was a federal prosecutor. What time do you have? As you know from the trial, I need to be on my train home by 4 o'clock. I need a little wash-up time. Sometimes the zipper in my robe gets stuck, you know.
It is almost 3:30. Why do you get to leave so early? I noticed that the trial didn't start till after 9 each day and you would leave well before 4 o'clock. Aren't you paid to work the whole day?
I do not feel compelled to answer that, As we say around here, I plead the fifth. That refers to our Fifth Amendment right. I don't think Mrs. Lazarus got to use that one this time.
One more question if I can.
Of course. And we can finish another time if you like. 'Cause I gotta scoot very soon. Go ahead, toss one more at me.
Thank you. What do you think the financial cost of this prosecution is, between the City of Los Angeles and the District Attorney's Office and their case, and any defense expenses, if there were any defense expenses?
Very good question, Shannon. The defense had very small cost compared to the prosecution's case. Between Los Angeles Police and the District Attorney's Office, they spent several million on this case. They spent a whole lot of money. I suspect the defense spent less than 1% of what they spent.
Are you kidding me? Does that include the cost of the courtroom for the 6 weeks and all the other hearings over the last 3 years?
No, absolutely not. That is just what it cost the people of this state just to bring the case up to the point that we got our guilty verdict. My courtroom costs are, considering my paycheck, the clerk, reporter, bailiff, additional security for this case, support staff, lights and such, it's about $200 a minute.
Did you say $200 a minute, 200 per minute to operate your courtroom?
Yes, I did. That might be a bit low, but it is close.
Wow. Okay then. Please excuse me. I must go. I think I just shit myself. Thank you again. Don't miss your train.
Sorry to hear that you shit yourself. It's a good thing most people are not aware of this stuff. They would probably do the same. Go ahead and submit a cleaning bill if you like. Call my clerk if you want to come back. I think this went very well. Bye-bye.